What happened to Vagabond? One of the most beautifully illustrated and almost seamlessly narrated mangas by Takehike Inoue, Vagabond enjoyed much critical acclaim from 1999 to 2014, but shortly thereafter ceased publication altogether. Until this point, Vagabond had gone on to span 37 volumes and had become yet another flagship series for Inoue after Slam Dunk in the early to mid-1990s. The series focuses on a man named Shinmen Takezo and his journey, which would eventually take him to becoming Miyamoto Musashi, one of the deadliest ronin who ever lived. Vagabond is unique in that it equally shows us both the incredible fights that Musashi was renowned for, and also displays a constant window into his mental state. Inoue's artwork captures Takezo's feelings in such a raw and beautiful way that the whole story has a palpable and realistic quality to it. Vagabond perfectly embodies the internal struggle within Takezo, and it makes for some of the best moments in the entirety of the manga. The spiritualism of the series stays with the reader long after consumption in such a special way. The saying that a picture says 1,000 words is rung true in some of these pages. There are countless more of these moments interspersed throughout the story, but it would be easier to just tell you all to read the manga, as this series is completely worth the read, even if it is lacking an ending. Just as we have the story of Takezo, a powerful warrior who discovers his lonely place in the world, we are introduced to Kojiro, another incredible fighter who is at one with his surroundings. In Inoue's interpretation of events, Kojiro is a deaf and mute boy who is trained to use the sword extremely proficiently. With his lack of hearing, it was said that his sight compensated exponentially. This compensation has given Kojiro the ability of incredible foresight when it comes to fighting by the sword, and thus his outstanding swordsmanship was born. Despite the manga alluding to an eventual battle between Musashi and Kojiro, the story is continually shifting away from that final battle with different storylines, which is a shame because the manga consistently displayed both a continuing growth in storytelling and artwork. Not only did Inoue create a story loved by millions, but from the photorealistic artwork we can see a passionate artist who loves his series. This relationship would seemingly last until 2013. At this point, Inoue began a new arc for the manga which was named the Post-Yoshioka War arc, or as it is more famously dubbed, the Farming arc. In its defense, there is a lot of work being put in to develop Musashi's character here with heavy themes on the meaning of life and growth. It's admirable for a series to even be taking steps in as bold a direction as this. Unfortunately, it drags the pacing of the story right down to a halt. To briefly summarise the arc, we grow an attachment to this small village of people who are dying from starvation and malnutrition due to failing crops. With a lot of work being needed in order to maintain basic agricultural techniques, Musashi finds that he is the only one with enough strength to be able to help the village and ultimately ends up saving everybody's lives because of this. Musashi gains a deeper understanding and respect for life, throwing away the cold, brutal outlook that he maintained throughout the beginning of the story. The insertion of this arc understandably caused a lot of disappointment among fans who were used to an altogether different type of storytelling. Alongside this, taking the arc that preceded it and observing its artwork when compared to that of the Farming arc, we can see that things are very much not like how they used to be. Where Vagabond previously appeared extremely detailed and incredibly choreographed, this newer story takes a more standard and naturalistic approach, with artwork that has very obviously been more simplified. This arc is one of the last completed stories in the manga before Inoue took a break from the series altogether. The series has yet to be given a return date after being absent for many years. When asked about the hiatus in a recent interview, Inoue had this to say: "I really don't at all have the urge to work on it right now, but I do know that if I don't work on it, I'll be in trouble down the road, and that's basically what was keeping me going up until I went on hiatus. I don't think that's a good way of going about it. My hope is to stay away from Vagabond until all those unnecessary worries and emotions are gone and I'm ready to draw it because I want to draw it. I'm not sure if I'll be allowed to wait that long though." Inoue goes on to say, "I see this hiatus as sort of a death for myself as an artist," which sounds like a pretty dramatic way to put it, I realise. But there's so much baggage that I've been dragging along for so long, and I know I'll become a much better artist if I shed all of that first. After I return to that state of innocence, the manga I make will be several times better than what I'm capable of now, I'm sure of it. If I prematurely go back to working on it before that, I'll just end up going through all of this all over again. I mean, I'd manage to churn out something decent, I suppose, surely out of a sense of professional duty. But it probably won't be anything outstanding. Although really the fact that I'm still talking about making it something outstanding is itself a sign that I'm still carrying that baggage around. Anyway, I'm not touching Vagabond for now because I think that's what I need to be able to eventually produce something that feels right to me. Unfortunately, Inoue then went on to become an ambassador for Japanese basketball teams. His Twitter is linked in the description below, and it can be seen through countless years that Vagabond is simply not something that he is pursuing right now, if ever again. To commemorate the series, Inoue held an exhibition which featured numerous artworks detailing the rest of the story of Miyamoto Musashi's life. Countless pieces of artworks were displayed upon the walls and offered a glimpse into the ending of the manga. In a way, this could be seen as the true ending for Vagabond. As much as we might not like it, whilst I would love to read this amazing story to the end, I must admit that I agree with Inoue's sentiments. To complete the series in the vein of the farming arc wouldn't do the series justice. If he could once again relight the passion which led to the mind-blowing artwork which we received in his prime, I'm more than happy to wait for it. Whether it returns, or whether it's left as it is, that was what happened to Vagabond. Thanks very much for watching this video. I want to give a very big special thanks to Julia, James, and Savfk Inoue for your contributions. It means a lot to me. If you want to support the channel, you can find the link in the description below. If you want to find out what video I'm making next, be sure to follow me on Twitter, subscribe for more, like the video if you like the video, comment your opinions down below, and I'll see you next time.